Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of Jamaica's national anthem.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I invite Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels, University Chaplain, to give the invocation.
Let us pray. Our God and our Heavenly Father, we come before you today giving you thanks. Indeed, we want to acknowledge that this is the day that you have made. And so we're rejoicing and being glad in it. And Lord, we recognize you as the master teacher. And as we come together with all of these great teachers of the University of the West Indies, we ask, Lord, that your endorsement will be upon this great ceremony. And that at the end of this ceremony, lecturers will be inspired to become greater teachers, as they offer great information and stimulation to the students that are under their tutelage. So we commit this time to you. We ask that everyone who will be making a presentation, everyone who will be speaking, will be inspired by you. And at the end of this ceremony, indeed, that your name will be honored. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thanks very much, Reverend Samuels, for invoking the Lord's presence as we gather to fulfill his mandate to give honor where honor is due. At this time, I wish to extend apologies on behalf of the following persons who are unavoidably absent this evening. Professor Sir Hilaire Beckles, Vice Chancellor, UWI Mona Campus. Dr. Delroy Shivers, Senior Lecturer, Mona School of Business and Management, UWI Mona Campus. Jermaine Reed, Caribbean Maritime University, and Dr. Maureen Nelson, Principal, Montego Bay Community College. Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Dale Weber. President of Guardian Life Limited, Mr. Eric Hossin. Deputy Principal, Professor Ian Boxill. Campus Registrar, Dr. Camille Bell Hutchinson. Executives and managers of Guardian Life Limited. Distinguished awardees, nominees, distinguished invitees, deans, professors, heads of departments, lecturers, staff members of Guardian Life Limited, administrative staff of the University of the West Indies, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you this afternoon to the UWI Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award Ceremony 2018. I have welcomed everyone, but I must give special welcome to a few persons, so bear with me. Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona Campus. Eric Hossin, President of Guardian Life. Professor Ian Boxill, Deputy Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona Campus, Dr. Camille Bell Hutchinson, Campus Registrar of the University of the West Indies Mona Campus, executives of Guardian Life Limited, awardee Dr. Aisha Spencer, nominees, keynote speaker Dr. Linda Nilsson, distinguished invitees, and other distinguished guests. It is indeed delightful to see so many persons in attendance. There is a tendency when we have showers of blessings for us to stay away, and sometimes the traffic tends to let us stay away. So we are delighted to see you all here this evening. Guardian Life is once again reinforcing its commitment to education by once again partnering with the University of the West Indies to host the Premium Teaching Award ceremony. This event is organized through a joint working committee of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning at UWI. This partner seeks to highlight, promote, and support teaching excellence by university lecturers, while at the same time promoting outreach to the general population with respect to education. We aim to engage you for the next hour and a half as we move through this evening's program, so kindly offer us your undivided attention. We ask you to hide your mobile phones at this time, if that's at all possible. It's my pleasure now to invite Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona Campus, Professor Dale Weber, to bring greetings on behalf of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Weber. Professor Weber.
Madam Master of Ceremonies, Ms. Foster, Mr. Eric Hussein, OD, and I was very pleased to sit there and watch you get that OD, Eric. Well deserved, congratulations. And members of the Guardian Life family, Dr. Linda Nielsen, our guest speaker, Deputy Principal, Professor Boxill, and our campus registrar, Dr. Camille Bell Hutchinson, deans, heads of departments, staff members, colleagues, students, family members, well-wishers, friends, and our special awardee. Good evening to you all. Let me start by offering apologies on behalf of Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, who is traveling out of the region and therefore is unable to join us this evening. He sends, and I quote, he says, "Get it right, Dale. I send my warm regards to all, my deep appreciation to Guardian Life, and hearty congratulations to the nominee tonight." So there you go. There's a quote which says, everyone who remembers his or her own education remembers the teachers and rarely remembers the methods or the techniques or all the very different things that are used. The teacher is the heart of the educational system. I think teachers are at the heart of our society today, and I'm saying that not just because my mother was a teacher. All of us recall a teacher or two who has left a mark on us. In our mind, I mean. The passion and sacrifice and commitment of our teachers goes well beyond what is required to unearth the best in students, and we see that in our teachers every day. But who is a teacher? A teacher is a person who helps others to acquire knowledge, competencies, and values. A teacher is an unlocker of potential, a facilitator of opportunities. A teacher is a friend, a confidant, a collaborator, a mentor. A teacher is a motivator, a human resource manager, and a teacher is a friend. A teacher is someone who is always there for you. And as a teacher, I can recall no better feeling than talking to a class and having that light bulb go off in that one little bad boy at the back of the class. After you've explained for the third time using a different scenario, he says, "Oh, that's what you mean." It is a wonderful feeling. That's why we teach. Today, we give thanks for the vision of Ms. Betty Roller, the then coordinator of the Instructional Development Unit, now the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning at the St. Augustine campus, who about 20 years ago successfully guided the process of securing support for a Premium Teaching Award. In January 2003, the UWI and Guardian Life Limited signed a memorandum of understanding committing Guardian Life Limited and Guardian Holdings to underwrite a Premium Teaching Award for the University of the West Indies here at the Mona campus. The award was introduced because both Guardian Life and the UWI wanted to acknowledge, honor, and encourage the efforts of university teachers who had demonstrated their commitment in and excellence in teaching. As the new principal of the Mona campus, and I can pause and say today is 100 days that I'm principal. Registrar tells me that after today I can't turn back, so. As the new principal of the Mona, I can drop the new no. As the principal of the Mona campus, it is my pleasure to join this celebration of excellence this evening. Guardian Life is an institution, must be commended for believing in the vision of what our teachers can do, partnering with the university to make it a reality. As we look at our nominees, I'm sure that the distinguished judge had a hard time determining who should be the winner. Well, we will hear more about how that was done and from our guest speaker. I am proud to know that we have such a dynamic and talented group of individuals teaching. I note as well that this award actually signals many more to come, since in my previous capacity as Pro-Vice Chancellor for Graduate Studies and Research, I was responsible as adjudicator for the Vice Chancellor's Award for Excellence, one of which is in teaching. For the 3 years I was Pro-Vice Chancellor, the award for teaching, the Vice Chancellor's Award, has gone to someone, and it almost seems that a prerequisite is they must have had the Guardian Life Teaching Award. So there is more to come, Aisha. Dr. Spencer, this year's awardee, is indeed a light shining from the west, but seems to be radiating in all directions. Her high energy has resulted in high impact here on the campus. My sources tell me that her recent presentations at Jamaica's first early grade reading conference and at the Jamaica Library Service inaugural Caribbean Children's and Young Adult Literacy Symposium left all in attendance in awe. Join me in extending hearty congratulations to Dr. Spencer on her well-deserved award. In closing, I must commend and thank Dr. Chisholm and his team for their continued effort on this well-organized event. We bask in the glory of being in the top 5% of universities worldwide, but we're cognizant that teaching, as well as student responses to teaching, plays a part in us getting that ranking. What I am worried about is, can we maintain it? Dr. Chisholm tells me, yes, we can. Thanks to the Settle team for all your work and all you continue to do in this rewarding transition of excellence. There are many lecturers and members of teaching staff who might not have made the final cut. We congratulate those who were nominees and say those who were not nominees but would like to see their light shining here, put your dossier together, get your thoughts together, visit the Settle, and become a teacher of excellence. You may be next. Good evening.
We can do better than that. Let us show our appreciation. Thank you very much, Professor Weber. We are aware of the many demands on your time, and so we appreciate your being here with us this evening. I now call on my president, Eric Hossin, President of Guardian Life, to give his address.
Good evening. No, man, no, teachers normally have to shout at students, you know. And mine shouted a lot at me. In fact, I'm glad he didn't tell you that I was the boy at the back of the class. So, good evening. Good evening. All right. So, like, you know, things are going on. You know, protocol observer, what Alicia was telling me, don't bother go through the list again. I mean, unless you want to learn it by heart, then there's no need to. But I must congratulate our principal for his national award commendation. No, man, give the man a clap, man. Yes, man. You know, as a company, we are very pleased to be a part of this event every time it is held, because as I was sharing earlier with a little team up here of jokers, I think, it is really amazing to me. I am just totally amazed every time I think about the teachers that have taught me during my lifetime, to know what they had to endure, to know that they were able to achieve what they, where I am today is thank you. I'm a little taller than the previous speaker. we try to cover all the heights at Guardian. but I'm really amazed, because when I see the commitment of teachers to their profession, not because of the money, although I'm told at the university they pay a lot of money, but most other primary school and all of those high schools and so on and other institutions, they don't pay as much. And to see the level of commitment they have to giving of themselves, and to be able to deal with students of different background, different types. And sometimes the parents, I was a president of the Immaculate teacher. I keep saying Past Students Association. I guess that was a dream of every young man in high school. But the PTA at Immaculate, because they have it as HSA, Homeschool Association. That's why I got a little mix up, not because of the past student. But really, when I see that parents are leaving their children for you to bring them up, it's amazing. And if you don't, they say, boy, look what the picnic turn out to be. If it is good, it's there, it's them. But if it is bad, boy, you see the teacher never did do our best. The poor teachers are blamed for so many things. They are depended on for so many things. And I want to commend all of you as teachers, as lecturers, as professors, and so on, for the tremendous work that you are doing here. We are very grateful. I am very grateful. I know the type of student I was. And I am very grateful for some of them really reaching out and knowing me. And they could say, you shouldn't be doing that, you should be doing that subject, because that is not for you. I did accounts, and one of them, I went back to the market and she said to me, I was wondering how long it will take you to come back in here, because I know it's not that you should have done. But I guess I liked a girl who was doing accounts. But it worked out, 33 years of marriage. It was a good investment. It worked out. But not only that too. Learning the accounts, I'm better able to do my job now. It's not just people just telling me figures. I understand, I can appreciate. So I want to say thanks to all teachers, especially those who have to endure the challenge of me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate this year's awardee, Dr. Isha Spencer, who looks very similar to one of our employees. So maybe that is something to come. But really, and to all the nominees, there is nothing to say that you are not wonderful also. I mean, one had to win, but it is certainly very commendable for the effort and the time that you took to participate in this event, this program. Special welcome and thanks to Dr. Linda Nilsson, the Chief Judge, who has taken the time to share her experience and knowledge with us this evening, and her supporting judges. We want to thank them all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I can assure you that we are committed to the Premium Teaching Award and to the University of the West Indies. What a wonderful institution. God bless you. Thank you.
No, it's as far as it can go. Thank you very much, President Eric Hussein. We can always depend on him to be short and humorous. So thanks a lot. Give him a round of applause, please. Okay, we would like to help you relax a little more and lighten the atmosphere. So please help me welcome Miss Vanessa Clark to the stage as she entertains us with a few of her special selections.
A duet could work, actually. Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to be doing two songs tonight. One is Proud by Heather Small, and the other is The Climb by Miley Cyrus. we'll start off with Proud, and then, since everybody knows the climb based on the responses I'm hearing, we'll continue with the climb.
I look into the windows of my mind, reflections of the fears I know I've left behind. And so I step out of the ordinary. I can feel my soul ascending. I'm on my way, can't stop me now, and you can do the same, yeah. What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? You could be so many people. Take that one chance at freedom. What have you done today to make you feel proud? Still so many answers I don't know. But realize that to question is how we grow. To question is to grow. So I step out of the ordinary. I can feel my soul ascending. I'm on my way, can't stop me now, and you can do the same, yeah. What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? You could be so many people. Just take that one chance at freedom. What have you done today to make you feel proud? We need a change. Let's do it today. 'Cause I can feel my spirit rising. Change. We need a change. Do it today. 'Cause I can see the clear horizon. What have you done to make you feel proud? Yeah. What have you done today? What have you done today to make you feel proud? See, you could be so many people. Just take that one chance at freedom. What have you done today to make you feel proud? What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? See, you could be so many people. Just take that one chance at freedom. What have you done today to make you feel proud?
All right, you can go ahead. I assume I'm going to be getting some help with this one, right? I can almost
almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every chance I'm taking feels lost with no direction. I gotta keep going, but I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I might have to lose. Ain't about how fast you get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes it might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments I'm gonna remember most. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta keep strong. Just keep pushing on, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes you might have to lose. Ain't about how fast you get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. Always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I might have to lose. Ain't about how fast you get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us do better than that. In addition to her voice, I think she displayed a lot of charm, composure, and confidence, given the time she had to stand here to wait for that start. Okay. We're now approaching the highlight of the evening in terms of the presentation from our guest lecturer. I now ask Camille Reed, member of the Planning Committee and Marketing Officer, Marketing, Recruitment, and Communications, the University of the West Indies, MONA, to introduce our guest lecturer. Camille?
Good evening, everyone. Should I go through the protocols again? Okay. You remember? Okay, good, good. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I crave your indulgence in allowing me to give an abbreviated version of the keynote speaker's illustrious career as an educator of educators. Phi Beta Kappa is considered America's most prestigious honor society. Since 1776, the society has championed education, freedom of thought, and recognized academic excellence. Our keynote speaker was elected to this society after she completed her undergraduate work at UC Berkeley. She would continue to champion the field of education for the rest of her career. Dr. Nielsen is currently Director Emerita of the Office of Teaching Effectiveness and Innovation at Clemson University. Before joining Clemson University, she directed teaching centers at Vanderbilt University and the University of California, Riverside. She was also a sociology professor at UCLA, where her journey in academic development, or rather educational development, started. Her career as a full-time faculty development director spanned over 25 years. Over this period, she has taught graduate seminars on college teaching, or what we would call tertiary education. She has published scores of articles and book chapters. She has given more than 450 keynotes. She has hosted scores of seminars, live workshops at conferences, universities all over the world on dozens of topics related to tertiary education teaching and scholarly productivity. She is also the author of a book entitled Teaching at Its Best, now in its 4th edition. Dr. Nielsen has written 4 books, co-edited 2, and all of them were aimed at communicating courses to students, creating self-regulated learners of students, and time management in the grading process. She also co-authored 4 volumes of the major publication of the Professional and Organizational Development Network in Higher Education. She also has 2 books on the way, Online Teaching at Its Best and Creating Engaging Discussions. She was a National Science Foundation Fellow at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, where she received her PhD and master's in sociology, or master's degrees in sociology. Ladies and gentlemen, with more than 500,000 entries on Google about this, about this phenomenal educator, I could go on all night. So I'm going to stop here and allow you to meet her. Dr. Linda Nielsen. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I need you to be my press agent. Over 450 keynotes and workshops, and I'm still a nervous wreck. So, no matter. Well, I can't tell you what a privilege and an honor it has been to serve as the lead judge of the process of selecting the Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award of 2018 at this university. I just can't tell you. But I didn't do this alone. I did have 2 supporting judges who helped me along. One of them is Dr. Keisha Valdez. You can read more about both of these in your program, but I do want to recognize that she's a senior instructional developer in the Center for Teaching Excellence at Boston College now. She has a connection to UWI St. Augustine. She was a faculty development specialist and graduate level higher education program coordinator there. And secondly, Dr. Michelle McAniff-Gums. She is now Associate Professor and Program Co-Chair in Literacy at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York. She also has a UWI St. Augustine connection. She was a lecturer there, as well as the Graduate Literacy Coordinator, course coordinator and developer, and an instructional designer at the Open Campus. So I can't thank Keisha and Michelle enough for their devoted participation in this process, their painstaking analyses of the portfolios, and their very keen judgment through this selection process. They were just absolutely wonderful. And as Mervyn will tell you, we got in the results early, right? Not at the last minute. So anyway, you know, the University of the West Indies, Mona, draws from a really deep well of teaching talent, of superb faculty members. So while serving as a judge for this award was has been an honor and a privilege. It's also been an agonizing process, for sure. The portfolios were as long as 125 pages long. Yes, and we had to make invidious distinctions among faculty who all deserved a major teaching award, this year even, and who are all active scholars in their fields. So this was not easy. I want to start out by honoring the candidates who did not receive this award, just so you can see how wonderful they are, by reading comments from their colleagues and students, just a few. So I edited some of the quotes just slightly, but not to change the meaning in any way. One of the nominees was Dr. Lisa R. Brown. Is she here? Please stand up. Oh, there you are. Oh, no. You've got to stay standing up through this. If you're going to be properly honored, okay. In case anybody missed you, because, yeah, you do this business. And then, no. And she's from the Department of Literatures in English, and one of her colleagues wrote this about her. Students speak eloquently of Dr. Brown's innovative, well-structured, and inspiring classes. They love her wit, her thoughtfulness and sensitivity, her creative approach to teaching, and her attention to the pedagogical process and their concerns. She's never afraid to make changes midstream in response to student engagement to improve the teaching process. And one of Dr. Brown's graduate students wrote this, and this was an unsolicited thank you note to her. You have imparted so much knowledge and wisdom to me in our conversations. I will never forget the time you advised me to take a new approach to literature when I felt stuck and thought all hope was lost. Although I've learned so much inside of your classroom, the moments outside of it are the ones I will never have to open a book to remember. Isn't that beautiful? The second candidate, and I've already spotted him in the audience, Dr. Venkateswara Penuganda. Up you go. And he teaches physics, which is a subject that many people fear, others love to hate, as reflected by this comment from one of his undergraduates. I remember being very nervous about the course because I found the subject very intimidating. However, the first day he came into the classroom, his positive energy was contagious and made every topic interesting. And another comment from an undergraduate. This is physics, okay? Don't forget this. I have developed quite a love for the discipline over the past couple of years, and I do not think that would have been possible without his influence. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, there's more. Here are a few more comments. This one is from a colleague. He is an exceptional lecturer who is student-centered in approach, engaging in class, meticulous in course development, responsive to the changing landscape of the discipline, thorough regarding quality assurance, and highly rated by his students. And from another colleague, motivated by genuine interest in students and powered by creativity, he has found the best ways to educate the whole student, not just cover the relevant material. This is from a graduate student. He became lovingly known by students as Dr. P. You got the feeling of a genuine level of compassion for students. And this is from a recent graduate. Sometimes Dr. P showed too much care towards students, not surprisingly more than a family member, which I found heartbreaking. I couldn't help it. From another recent graduate, Dr. P exhibited every trait you could possibly assign to a great teacher. Always on time, understanding, knowledgeable, and passionate with excellent communication skills. Thank you. Thank you so much. You were just, you may sit down now. I'm going to let you. Okay. Okay, the third candidate, Dr. Wayne Palmer. Is he here? Oh, there you are. You're smiling. I can't recognize you. Oh, and you are from the Faculty of Medical Sciences. Now, we judges thought that you deserved an award for administration, specifically for the disciplinary teaching innovations that you've made at this university. He brought the medical educational enterprise into the 21st century with an array of transformative technological initiatives that have enhanced student access and success. One of his colleagues stated, "The entire faculty has been exceedingly pleased with the changes and has increased the capacity to accommodate more electronic teaching and assessments within several departments. This demonstrates that in addition to being an effective teacher, Dr. Palmer is a gifted leader who pioneers new ideas and insights," which is another reason you should get an award for administration, because you somehow created consensus on a faculty. That's amazing, right? Really amazing. One of his colleagues another one of his colleagues, praised his enthusiasm, focused attention to learning and professional objectives, commendable work ethic, and academic achievement. And finally, there's this comment from a former student and UWI graduate, which really highlights Dr. Palmer's powerful, positive impact on students. While completing my postgraduate degree, I had the opportunity to choose a thesis supervisor and chose Dr. Palmer due to his ability to envision and achieve excellence. Initially, I totally abhorred research, but through his exceptional supervision and guidance, I developed a better understanding of literature reviews, research methodology, data collection and data analysis. And because of his passion for teaching and research, I was motivated to specialize in research in my career. Yes. Really, this is why we teach, really, to have that kind of impact on students' lives. So you may sit down, Doctor. Now, before I formally announce and honor the winner of the Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award, as if you didn't know who she was, I'd like to acquaint you with the criteria that the supporting judges and I used to guide our selection, and then talk briefly about metacognition, because it played a significant role in the award winner selection process. The selection criteria were provided to us by Dr. Mervyn Chisholm, who's manager and coordinator of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. You stand up too. And thank you, Mervyn. And as one of Mervyn's faculty development colleagues, I can vouch for the soundness and relevance of these criteria. And each criterion was broken down into specific behaviors and forms of evidence. So here are the general categories of criteria. The teaching philosophy, addressing topics such as the nature of teaching and learning, student development, faculty-student relations, and the assessment of students' achievement of learning outcomes. Assessment played quite a role in this whole process as well. 2, teaching leadership and responsibilities, including departmental and institutional policy initiatives, curriculum improvements, mentoring, and service as a public resource. Effective teaching. Now, this really was the largest single, the most highly weighted criteria that we were working on. It had 40% of the points that we had to allocate. And this was effective teaching as demonstrated by well-considered teaching and assessment strategies, aligned course design, student engagement and rapport, learning outcomes focused on high-level thinking, and student achievement of those outcomes. I want to move away a little bit from these official criteria just to talk about the 4 properties of powerful teachers. These were reflected in the portfolios, but in different places from what most of the other criteria where they were reflected. This is from an article by Rob Jenkins that was published in the Chronicle of Higher Education in March of 2015. And it was recently republished because it's just as timely as ever. So what are the 4 properties of powerful teachers? Personality, right? What kind of personality? Being good-natured and approachable. Being professional without being aloof. Being funny, but not like a comedian, but spontaneously funny. Witty. Being demanding without being nasty and unkind about it. Being creative. Being comfortable in their own skin. And being natural in that they make teaching look easy, and we know it isn't, right? But it's a wonderful illusion, right? So, and this makes the students feel more at ease, right? So, and all of these traits that I'm talking about can be developed. This is one of the arguments that Mr. Jenkins makes. You know, whether you're born with these or not, you can foster them, or as we say on the street, fake it till you make it, right? Exactly. Okay, another property, presence. And here, of course, we're talking about, you know, a teacher being fully in the moment with the subject matter and with the students, and you know, it takes self-awareness and all, but it's also that kind of characteristic you see in some people who own the room, right? Who appear to be just naturally in command, very at ease about it as well. And another word for this is charisma. And this is another quality that some people, well, it's unattainable. No, it's quite attainable, quite attainable. And the way you get it is not only by, you know, awareness and determination and focus, concentration, but public speaking techniques. Public speaking techniques will turn you into a charismatic figure. It's just what public speaking techniques do. So, presence is very easy to develop. Preparation, and not the sort of preparation where you look over your notes 5 minutes before you walk in the room, right, and look over your PowerPoint slides and you figure, versus saying, walking into the room and saying, what am I talking about today? No. So this is preparation, but it's a more general type of preparation, really, for the profession. So it's preparation in terms of keeping up with your field, of course, and of course bringing those new insights, new information into the classes. It's keeping up with innovations in pedagogy and innovations in instructional technology as well. But it even goes beyond this, because when you're keeping up with the field and you're keeping up with pedagogy and instructional technology, you are also making adjustments to your teaching. You are constantly reassessing your teaching to see what you can do better at. You're getting rid of the outmoded techniques and you're trying new things. That takes courage, right? That always takes courage. And then the final characteristic, and I'm going to quote Dr. Jenkins on this. This is the most important of all the qualities that characterize great teachers. Passion. Passion, right? And it manifests itself in the classroom as love for students and love for the subject matter. But especially, I think, love for students. In fact, before I really got into faculty development, people would ask me, well, what does it take to be a really good teacher? And I would say, well, love your students. Well, it's a little fancier than that, isn't it? Quite a bit fancier, especially these days when we know so much about teaching and learning that we didn't know 40 years ago. But I've met I've had colleagues, not just met them, but I've had colleagues and I've worked with them who didn't love students. And it makes you wonder, what are you doing here? Why are you here? You know, what, you don't like this generation, or what you don't like young people? You're getting so old, you don't like young people? But what is the problem? But, you know, I think we can't take that love for granted, because again, some people don't have it. But you know what? Students can smell it a mile away, right? They know. I mean, even when Eric was a student, the bad student in back of the room, he knew whether the teacher loved his or her students, right? You knew. And colleagues can tell as well. Because, you know, colleagues know whether you're sitting around and complaining about students, right? Colleagues know better than anybody. So what you find personality, presence, preparation, and passion reflected in a lot of the letters from students, the letters from colleagues, and of course in the student evaluations as well. Now, I want to get back to what these criteria. So, effective teaching is huge, and it has a lot of components to it, a lot of moving parts, right? The fourth criterion that Mervyn gave us was, and this was a wonderful one, and this has to do with preparation, personal development. And this is shown by participating in professional development activities, improving one's teaching as a result. You know, you can go to all the workshops in the world, but if you don't do anything with what you're learning, right, what good does that do? And conducting research on teaching and learning as well. And finally, there's reflection on teaching, which is still another facet of preparation. And this includes obtaining and responding to student and peer feedback, revising one's courses and approaches, teaching approaches accordingly, and recording one's reflections on teaching. Now, these criteria represent very high standards that are very challenging for faculty to meet, but some faculty do indeed meet them. We have some of these in the audience tonight, and probably more than those that you see who have been recognized tonight and being recognized. But they highlight the importance of reflection on teaching that promotes personal and professional growth. This kind of reflection can be seen as metacognition for us faculty. Metacognition, well, the general definition is thinking about your thinking. But for us faculty, it's thinking about and evaluating our teaching. It's asking yourself questions about how you're doing as an instructor, how your students are reacting, how well they're learning, and how you can improve your teaching to more effectively stimulate your students' motivation, their engagement, their interest in your subject matter, and of course, learning. Now, metacognition can turn excellent instructors into great ones. And it can revitalize your commitment to teaching and help you view it as an ever-continuing process towards greatness. You're ever evolving. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk briefly about what metacognition can do for our students. Really transformative for them. But finally, now, on to the faculty member who is receiving the GLL Premium Teaching Award. This amazing professor managed to check all the boxes on our judging criteria. And no doubt you recall when you're reading like a really outstanding A paper or essay exam that you almost get giddy. You know, are you doing that? I got giddy reading this fine faculty member's portfolio, literally giddy. And I'm a tough grader. I really am. You, Eric, don't want to be in my class, okay? All right. I mean, maybe none of you would. I don't know, but I am a tough grader. But I gave this person 198 out of 200 possible points. I couldn't believe it myself. You know, it really was. I wasn't expecting to give that many to anybody in the world, right? But she is explicitly reflective and highly metacognitive in her teaching. I'm going to read you some comments from her colleagues. One says that she is, quote, motivated by a burning desire to be exceptional and contribute to the enhancement of literature and language education. She initiated a project called Talk the Poem, National Poetry Recitation Competition, which has elicited the interest of over 35 high schools across Jamaica. Wow. The second colleague states, her teaching delivery skills and her innovative and creative thinking as a teacher are not unconnected with her firm epistemological understanding of literature and language education. Her research and publications inform her teaching, and her teaching informs her research and publications. She has a holistic view of what she does as a teacher and a scholar. From another colleague, I've worked alongside her on the examining team for the CAPE, Literatures in English, English subject, and is one of the assistant chief examiners. She has established herself as an invaluable team member. I've also been a part of the Talk the Poem project, her brainchild and timely initiative, which has revolutionized poetry teaching, learning, and love for the subject on the secondary level. Over the span of a decade, her qualities have distinguished her as a teacher leader in the domains of teaching and learning, professional and personal growth and development, organizational leadership, and parent and community partnerships. From another colleague, this is my favorite, who calls her charismatic and, quote, a teacher extraordinaire whom I duly nicknamed the Passion Goddess. Ooh, my goodness. During the 9 years that I have worked with her, she has demonstrated a desire for teaching and ultimately poetry that has caused even the most unruly male student to say that he can unlock the poet within. I have been teaching boys for 16 years, and I think that anyone who can get rugby boys to enjoy poetry should be knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. I'm sorry, but we haven't been able to arrange for that tonight. Maybe in a month or something, but anyway, she's a consummate educator who's the epitome of student-centeredness and student empowerment through immersive and reflective pedagogies. And here's praise from yet another colleague who says she is driven by passion to be the best and to give of her best. As one who is careful not to label her students, she has, in philosophy and practice, debunked the elitist view that certain academic pursuits are the preserve of bright students, and has embraced the ideology that the classroom is a level playing field. Her aim is thus not so much to teach the best students, but to be the best teacher for all her students, to meet them where they, yes. To meet them where they are and to help them become better versions of themselves. It's little wonder then that she is a much sought after workshop presenter, catering not only to students but also to educators. Here are a few remarks from her former students. She loves what she is doing, which causes haters of literature to understand and appreciate the subject. In response to the question, what did you like best about the lecturer? One student answered, her energy and love for what she does, and how she pulls us in to love it too. A graduate student called the course that she completed with this professor one of my most enriching teaching and learning experiences to date. Here are some comments from other students. She has a keen ability to make lessons relatable to her students. She finds clever ways to capture their interest. During a class discussion about how students learn the English language and the issues they sometimes face, she facilitated the dialogue, speaking in standard English and Jamaican Creole seamlessly. Afterwards, she explained the benefits of using both types of language and how it allows students from diverse backgrounds to be included in our classrooms. Here's another one. In some traditional classrooms, teachers do not often divulge their strategies. That's a heavily guarded secret. I noticed quickly that she was willing to share her knowledge, and she encouraged us to explore new ideas. Here's another one. Her use of humor and personal experience made our learning environment more relaxed and enjoyable. Her wit and charming ability to clarify concepts using real examples made learning exciting, even when classes lasted late at night. And finally, this one. Since the day she walked into my life, she has, yes, I know, she has brought sunshine to my world. It's amazing. She ensured that we students experienced her lessons from the perspectives of both the learner and the teacher. Under her guidance, I have been able to evolve positively and purposely as a student, a teacher, and a modern-day woman. I aspire to be as innovative, personal, and knowledgeable as she is in her approach to teaching. I didn't ask you, oh, no. Well, I didn't ask you to stand up, by the way, because you would have been fainting by now. So that's okay. That's okay. You'll be standing enough. Supporting Judge Dr. Keisha Valdez said this about the award winner. I teach because it matters. This is a powerful quote from her teaching philosophy. As I was reading through her portfolio, the themes of care and connection with her students echoed on the various pages. As a teacher-educator, she recognizes the gravity of her role and her pedagogy as well, and their rippling effects on her students and their future learners. Her approaches to teaching go far beyond ensuring the usual development of students' cognitive skills and theoretical understanding. Instead, her practice is situated in notions of empowerment, action, and connection. It is clear that she exhibits teaching excellence. She is deeply invested in her students and her nation, and exemplifies the potential of higher education at its best. Supporting Judge Dr. Michelle McAniff Gums wrote this about her. She's an exemplary teacher-educator who has earned the respect and admiration of her colleagues within and beyond the university. Her passion for the profession is palpable, and the far-reaching impact of that passion is felt by both pre-service and in-service teachers. Further, her impressive history of instructional leadership in language arts education, both locally and internationally, her strong publication record, and her commitment to community service in her field of expertise makes her an ideal candidate for this award. And it's now my pleasure and honor to formally announce the winner of the 2018 UWI Mona Guardian Life Group, or Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award. She is lecturer in the Department of Languages and Literature Education in the School of Education, Dr. Aisha Dakia Spencer. The best of the best, and you so totally deserve this, really. Now I'd like to shift back to the topic of metacognition and our students, because for them, metacognition is asking themselves questions about their learning. And you'll identify with this. It's that voice in your head that asks you questions like this. Did I just understand what I read or heard? Can I really make sense of it? Can I recall and paraphrase it? Can I explain it in my own words? Right? And this is why I subtitle my workshop tomorrow morning, Active Learning on the Inside. Learning is an inside job, right? It's something we do to ourselves. Now, we as faculty members, as teachers, we can create a wonderful environment for teaching. We can plop our students in the middle of situations where it might be difficult for them not to learn, but you know, we can't make it happen. They have to make it happen. They have to process the experience. Now, we can help them do that. And again, my workshop tomorrow has a lot to do with that. But when students practice metacognition, it can radically increase their chances of academic success and occupational success later on. It can be really transformative for struggling students. And in a few words, metacognition equips students to learn on their own and to keep learning on their own throughout their lives. And believe me, they will have to keep learning on their own, new knowledge and skills, just to keep up with their fields, whatever those fields might turn out to be, as well as to prepare for new careers that we can't even imagine. Right? I mean, employers do not hold your hand. They just don't do that. I mean, they might say, okay, take this online course. See you in 6 months, right? That's as much as they're going to do to help you along. They'll give you, again, they'll put you in a nice situation, but you must teach yourself. Now, the evidence for the claim that metacognition can make the difference between academic success and failure comes out of research in cognitive psychology, educational psychology, instructional design, and college level teaching and learning. Now, tomorrow morning I'm going to be touching on some of this research, but my emphasis is going to be on equipping you to enable your students to practice metacognition and more generally self-regulated learning. Metacognition is also empowering because students realize that they have control over their learning. They realize that learning is not like the weather. You know, it's sunshine. If it's sunshine, I learn. If it's raining, I don't. They realize it's not like that, okay? And they also realize that if they're not learning, it's not necessarily our fault as incompetent instructors. It's not the fault of the fates either that they didn't get a particular talent at birth. They start to realize that they are the ones making the difference. So this empowerment makes students feel responsible for their own learning and academic success. And even advanced students don't always feel this way. There was a recent study published of 132 veterinary students, and these are professional students in the United States. And they were asked what they believed to be the most important elements or factors in their academic performance. And almost all of them cited the quality of the instruction and the curriculum. And of course, these are important, but very few of them mentioned their own learning skills and strategies. Now, my workshop tomorrow is on self-regulated learning. Metacognition is the cognitive part of the process of self-regulated learning. And notice I mentioned process because there are different stages to this process. Now, I want to look in greater detail, acquaint you in greater detail with the metacognitive questions students should be asking themselves and answering honestly, of course, and you will get a list of these at the workshop. But before doing a learning task, so this is the planning part, the before part, such as, you know, some sort of learning task like doing a reading or listening to a podcast, watching a video, writing a paper, going into a lecture. Some planning is in order with questions like these. Now, what kind of a task is this? Do a task analysis. Now, unfamiliar tasks students are used to doing. They don't have to do this kind of analysis anymore. They know exactly what kind of a task it is. But this could be unique for each task. What is my goal? And how will I know that I've reached it? And students might think, goal? My goal is to make it through the process. My goal is to make it through this lecture without screaming, or to read from the first word to the last word, right? To make it through. And for some students, this is an eye exercise, right? And that's not, of course, what reading is at all. But here, these are goals that a student might set, let's say for like a reading. How about paraphrase from memory 5 major points that the chapter makes? Okay, that's a goal. That's a goal. Other questions that they might ask, students should ask before a learning task. What do I already know about the topic? Right? Because this is what you want to map new knowledge onto what you already know or have experienced. What strategies should I use? Now, this presumes students have strategies, right? Right? So, but, yeah, I mean, and you know what? They might have one strategy. They might have 2. But they are not full of strategies to try out. They don't have a very large repertoire. We come into this process too. It doesn't take more than a couple of sentences to explain a strategy to students. And I'll just give you an example of some strategies. Okay, actively listening. And there are some activities I'm going to be talking about tomorrow morning that can train students to understand what active listening is. Taking notes. I don't know about you, but a lot of students in the United States don't take notes during a lecture. And I'm like, folks, what are you thinking? You know, I mean, like, how are you going to remember this? Your mind is not a tape recorder. Take the outlining. Representing the material graphically in a flow chart or concept map or cycle, whatever. Occasionally self-quizzing. All right? If you aren't quizzing, students need to be quizzing themselves. Reviewing, writing a summary, or some combination of these strategies. And when you acquaint your students with some of these strategies, they're going to say to you, say, what? Am I supposed to be doing that? Yes, that's what metacognition, self-regulated learning is all about. And they don't have these strategies in mind. Another question, what strengths can I bring to the task? What strengths have I shown doing similar tasks in the past? So a little self-assessment here. And by the same token, what are my weaknesses? And how can I make up for my weaknesses? A weakness might be, oh, I can't focus for very long. Well, you can't focus if you practice focusing for longer and longer periods of time, right? It's a learned skill. So anyway, during the task, so phase 2, students should be monitoring their learning and asking themselves questions like these. Am I sure I know what I'm doing? Right? Does my Eric's laughing too hard. Yeah. Am I sure that my approach makes sense? Am I making good progress towards my goal? Can I, paraphrase one major point from the chapter so far? How focused am I? Am I getting tired? And if I am, how can I keep myself, or get myself back to being focused again? Maybe I need a short break. Maybe I need to walk around the room. How well are my strategies working? Should I make any changes, right? What material seems to be the most important here? What material am I having trouble understanding? How is my thinking on the topic changing? And how does what I am learning relate to what I already know or have experienced? Now, this is a question that this sounds deceptively innocent as a question, but it's really critical for getting new knowledge into long-term memory. As I mentioned, we map everything onto what we already know or have experienced. This is just the way our minds operate. So this is a wonderful, wonderful question that students should just have in back of their mind all the time. Because, you know, our idea of learning isn't getting something into short-term memory, it's getting something into long-term memory, right? Critical question for helping students get new knowledge into long-term memory. Finally, after completing a task, students should reflect on their success or their shortfalls. First question, how well have I achieved my goal or mastered what I set out to learn? So, what can I recall? What can I paraphrase? What do I need to go back and review? What were the most important points that I learned? And can I see and organize interrelationships among them? What am I still having trouble understanding? So what questions should I be asking my instructor tomorrow? How does this new material relate to things I've already learned or experienced? Critical question to reflect on at the end. What's the significance of this material? Another important question. How has my thinking on the topic changed? What approaches and strategies worked well? Which didn't? What should I do differently next time that I'm facing a similar task? Now, the key here is self-awareness, reflection, introspection, mindfulness, right? That's what these things are all about. Now, you may say, well, I've been asking myself these questions for years, right? Right? No, you probably are. I mean, well, some of you. But lucky you, lucky you, if you have been asking yourself these questions, at least even some of these questions in the past, lucky you, you picked up this technique at an early age. And this is probably at least largely responsible for why you are here in this room, why you are faculty at a fine university. This just, you know, just didn't walk into it, right? You'd been learning how to learn your entire life. So we might think that our students are practicing the same learning strategies that we did. But you know, it's funny. We were some of the best students in college, weren't we? Right? Right? Well, some people say not really, but somehow we did learn how to learn. But ironically enough, the best students can grow up to become the worst teachers because we didn't have any trouble learning the material, not least in our discipline, right? I mean, we fell in love with it. We found it, as majors went, relatively easy. We knew how to learn it. We didn't know where the learning bottlenecks were, right? Right? So, but we are teaching students who have learning bottlenecks, right? So this is why our attending faculty development events is so important, because we are handicapped by our academic knowledge and skills and values, our you know, love of the life of the mind, and our histories. So there are you know, we really do need to learn self-regulated learning activities and assignments, not for us to learn self-regulated learning, but for us to bring our students to that level, for us to get them to practice them. And we can get them to practice it. There are self-regulated learning activities and assignments for the beginning and end of the course, for readings, videos, podcasts, for live lectures, for large and small assignments, for quizzes and exams, and for various times during a course. You don't have to use all of them. There are dozens of them, but just using just a few can make a huge difference in the lives of your students. Some will take a few minutes of class time. Others are short assignments that students can do outside of class and that you just check in. You don't have to grade them. You just check to see that students did it, and you give them a point. But anyway, my workshop is going to give you these very, very concrete, very practical techniques that you can start using in your classes next Monday, or Friday afternoon if you're teaching on Friday afternoon. They're easy for you, and they don't take time away from the content of your course. Rather, they complement and reinforce that content. Now, faculty in the United States and Canada have responded with tremendous enthusiasm to my book, Creating Self-Regulated Learners, as well as to my keynotes and workshops on the topic. So I hope to see many of you tomorrow morning at my workshop. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you in Jamaica.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm going to ask you to do it again. Let us show our appreciation. It's not very easy to speak for that length of time and keep your audience engaged. And I think she did that very well through preparation, personality, presentation skills, and the passion that she displayed, right? Okay, it's now time for me to hand over to someone I admire very much, someone with whom I share a very pleasant working relationship, and that is Dr. Camille Bell Hutchinson, Campus Registrar, UWI Mona Campus. I am going to hand over to her to offer commendations to faculty who scored high marks on student evaluation and teaching.
Well, I'm glad I can say all protocols observed. Just want to tell you a little secret that since Linda came down, Eric said he'll happily go back to school if you could teach him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today and to be sharing this with you and with the awardee. We know that teaching isn't an easy task at all. And so, having listened to Linda again, I'm about to tell Professor Weber that he needs a new registrar because Professor Wariboko just told me to come back to School of Education to teach. So, you know, education certainly is my passion, and just listening to Linda brings back the days in the School of Education. We wanted this year to do something different. And Dr. Chisholm and his team felt that, yes, we have the Guardian Awards, and there are persons who have submitted portfolios and have come out champions, but there are so many other, what we could call unsung heroes. There are so many of our faculty who work tirelessly, not for rewards, because I don't know where the thought came from that we are well paid in faculty. Are we well paid? No. Right. So I don't know where the thought came from, but despite... Oh, thanks, Eric. Thanks. But outside of that, these are persons who give up their time and their effort and their passion to make a difference in their classrooms. Because gone are the days when you're here to lecture. It don't quite work that way. And our students, the profiles have changed. The educational system has changed, and the truth is we do have students who come to be spoon-fed, but we have lecturers who kind of work with them but don't really spoon-feed them and get the best out of them. So this year, Settle decided that they would invite today some of our lecturers who have scored more than 4.5%, more than 4.5 out of 5 in our student assessment of teaching. And for those who don't understand that, at the end of each semester, there is a survey that's done among students, and they're asked to assess the course and to assess the lecturer. And the maximum score is 5, and they ask various questions of the students about the lecturer, both in terms of delivery, in terms of content, in terms of punctuality, in terms of preparedness. Quite a varied number of items are asked, and students are asked to respond. We have had over the years a lower rate of response because, interestingly, it used to be paper-based, and they would sit together at the end of the lecture and fill in the forms. We thought we were very efficient and decided to automate, and we decided to put it online, and them just don't answer it. So we had a really hard time encouraging students to respond because it matters. It does matter, both in terms of the development of the faculty, him or herself, but in terms of how the university can better help those who need the help. And that's what CETL is about, the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. And so in order to ensure that we had a good number of students responding to this survey, the lecturers who have been identified are those for whom at least 40% of the class had responded, and they scored 4.5 or more. And we have nearly 120 such persons. Give them a hand. Now, it would be really difficult to identify each. I know some are here. I'm going to ask those who are here to stand. Could you stand if you're among those outstanding lecturers who have scored 4.5 or more over in their classes? Wonderful. Let's hear it for them. And remain standing. We're not going to be calling names, although there are two persons I'd particularly call out, because there were two of these lecturers who consistently scored the maximum 5. That's Dr. Heather Ricketts, Senior Lecturer in the Faculty of Social Science. Heather, put up your hand if you're here. There you go. And it's Dr. Isis Smaj Hall. Is she here? Where is Isis? Isis over here. There she is. And she is a lecturer in the Faculty of Humanities. Those two lecturers have consistently scored 5. But here you are. Yes, I saw the awardees standing. She's one of them as well. And they span areas of literature, Spanish, social work, French, physics, library studies, in the foundation courses, in government, in history, in linguistics, I said physics, in Spanish. Come on, my iPad has to work with me now so I can get, they're not all on the same page and they're not working with me. Right, so let's go to the other one. Right, here we are. So we have persons in management studies, in nursing, in educational management. Yeah, nurses, let us hear it, yes, in nursing, in communication studies. Going back to my third one, you have to keep standing a little longer, people. Hush, I hope the knees are all right. Let's go into the other one to see what are some of the other areas. Japanese. No, trust me. If you can make me get 4 out of 5 in Japanese, you're well good, definitely. Economics is another area. I think in the School of Medical Radiation Technology. Thanks, Dr. Paul, in that area as well. Literature's in English. So and in gender and information, in mathematics. And if you're getting scored in mathematics, 4.5, oh no, well good. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to give high commendations to all our faculty members here who have done outstandingly well in engaging our students to the point where they are scoring between 4.5 and 5. And we do have a little token for you. Not here tonight though, we're going to get it. So, you know, we kind of thought of it late. So each of you will get a little memento of tonight and of the work that you're doing. And it's something we know the principal is going to fund, and we know that Mr. Hussein, work with me here, principal, just say yes. Right. And Mr. Hussein, Guardian Life, he knows that he's going to fund it. So, you know, we're going to get a little thing. But listen, clap on yourself. You did very well, very well. Thank you so much. And that's it from me. Oh, I should say awardees, and not awardees, but those over here that we've just commended. At the end, they've asked me to ask you, at the end we want a picture moment. So at the end, please don't run off. We want to have a picture moment with you so that we can all remember the date and have it, you know, in our archives. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hutchinson, for your spirited presentation. Now we move to Professor Ian Boxill, Deputy Principal, UWI Mona Campus. I'm inviting you now to offer commendations from UWI Mona Campus to the nominees, runners-up, and also to present a plaque and basket to Miss Lisa Brown, lecturer, something. I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing. Yeah, I need to put my glasses on for true. In English, honored nominee. I'm very sorry, I'm gonna put on my glasses. It's not working out so well. So Professor Boxill,
So, good evening. Like my colleague Dale Weber, we've been going to functions all day, and so I sat there and I listened to Dr. Nilsson, and there are points at which she started to kind of tease my brain and to ask. I felt like reflecting on my career as a teacher. A lot of people, by the way, the term teacher means doctor in Latin. So historically, teachers were called doctors. Eventually the term mutated to be associated with medical doctors. But actually, if you look at the origin of the root of the word, it comes from Latin. So doctor and teacher were the same. And the term teacher was often associated with religious teaching in churches. And many of these people in Latin were called doctors. And this is why in Europe, a doctorate is something huge. I mean, they take very long to actually get this doctoral degree, because it's normally associated with a whole heap of experience and work, etc. So over the years, the word has been changed. So next time persons say doctor and teacher, remind them that the word, the origin, the correct root of the word out of Latin is actually teacher. So Jesus was a doctor, a person who in either formal or informal context taught. So it's a very noble profession, as we say. My duty here is really to add commendations. Already commendations were given to those persons who were runners-up. And there were 3 of them: Dr. Wayne Palmer, who is the Deputy Dean, Education Technology, Faculty of Medical Sciences. He's also a consultant and lecturer in the Division of Orthopedics, Department of Surgery, Radiology, Anesthesia, and Intensive Care. And we know that the Faculty of Medical Sciences has a very good pedigree in that respect, because the former Dean, Paul, was a recipient of this award some years ago. So, you know, it seems to be running in the family. Dr. Venkateswara Rao Penugonda is a lecturer in the Department of Physics, Faculty of Science and Technology, and he also, as we heard earlier, had very wonderful reports from his students. I can tell you, I had in high school I had a good physics teacher, I must say. But physics was obviously, if you like math, you tend to like physics. If you don't like math, the two are sort of connected. And there are a lot of our students who have difficulties with math and with physics. And to have students to say to you that they really enjoyed it and that it was a pleasure coming into the classroom means quite a bit. I used to teach statistics, and I can tell you, as soon as you walk into the board, and you write like a Y, you find out the students, they begin to freeze up. And you often have to start with some story or something else, or find a different way to communicate with them. So we need to recognize persons like you who have found a way to get in touch with something that exists in all of us. One of the things that I think that Dr. Nilsson said about our awardee is that her approach is to assume that, or to see the classroom as a leveler, and that while people come with different abilities, what we do is to try to meet that person at their level. So oftentimes we have like one goal or one set of scores by which to judge persons, but without recognizing that people start at different levels. So that sometimes you've made a great leap, and that leap may not reach that score that you sort of set for yourself. But it is where the person actually started, and people start at different levels, and sometimes they make huge leaps without meeting that place that you would like them to get. So again, I value that input and a way to actually make me, again, think about what is our job as teachers, and how we should approach this. And our last one, Lisa Brown, who is a lecturer in literatures in English in the Department of Literatures. I don't know, well, I shouldn't say I don't know too much about teaching about poetry, because there was a time when I felt that I could write poetry. And I still do, right? But I can tell you that from in English class, that poetry and literature in general can be difficult. I mean, I was a time when I did Chaucer. You know, I did Pardon's Tale and all, you know. And when you pick up Chaucer, you start to read, you're like, what language is this, you know? And it was a different language then. And so to have someone, I don't know, I don't think you do Chaucer in this university. I tell students about Chaucer, they say, which century was that, you know? Right? But, you know, they would know about Julius Caesar and this, but Chaucer, like, who ever had read Chaucer? But Registrar, you would know Chaucer and write it. But English and literatures is, I think Dr. Nilsson said it correctly, that there are a lot of young men in particular who shy away from literature and from reading. You'd be surprised that one of the challenges we have in the university, they're simple things. Like, I was told that on one of the halls, male hall, so you can figure out which hall is that, some of the young men don't use the term men. You have to call them man and mans. So it is, yeah, this is there are subcultures which develop and you have to deal with them. So when you're in class, you have to be careful how you communicate. Some of them will not write it because it is not in vogue, and those words have other meanings which they prefer not to be associated with. So they're simple things. I was once told that there were some male students who were very bright, but insisted on behaving as though they were stupid. And it was because there was a subculture that was developing which said that very bright men were not real men. Yes, it's true, it exists at some sections in universities. So the teaching part is not only about communicating the subject matter, but in engaging and understanding that subculture. And if the older you are, the more you need to understand that culture. And in an era of social media, etc., where students really don't, I mean, I don't teach now, but when I don't teach undergraduates now, I have doctoral students. But I recall going into class and asking the same question, why are you not taking notes? And they would take out a little phone. I have my notes on my phone. And I said, but you can't read anything on that. But they would take the phone out and they tap this thing. Or they say, can I record your notes or something like that? Or they say, I'll just go Google it. So the approach is different. And so I'm saying that we are in a sort of a very complex environment, and to be doing very well in the profession, to be communicating your information means that you have to engage not just the subject matter, but you have to engage the culture and understand a lot of things. So there's a lot that is involved. And I want to say that to be among the nominees, among so many outstanding persons, those who have scored 4.5, I think it's a real grand achievement. And on behalf of the University of the West Indies, Mona, I would like to congratulate all of the nominees. Thank you.
At this time, can I ask Miss Lisa Brown to come forward and accept a presentation from Professor Ian Boxill? Wait. Thank you very much, Professor Boxill, and congratulations to Lisa Brown. At this time, I'm going to ask Debbie Livingston, Vice President at Guardian Life, to present a plaque and basket to Dr. Venkataswara Penugunda. Did I get it correctly? Indeed. No. Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Livingston, and congratulations, Dr. Penugunda. It's now Mrs. Ashman's time, Claudette Ashman. I'm going to ask her to present the basket to Dr. Wayne Palmer, Deputy Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, with responsibility for educational technology and lecturers in the Department of Surgery, Radiology, Anesthesia, and Intensive Care. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ashman, and congratulations to Dr. Wayne Palmer. Okay, at this time, instead of focusing your attention on me, which I hope you were, I'm going to ask you to focus your attention on the screens as we're about to make a feature presentation on our awardees.
UWI Guardian Group Teaching Award 2018.
Sun destruction, okay? All right, so work with me now, okay?
Dr. Aisha Spencer has been teaching language and literature for more than 20 years. She is the founder and director of Talk the Poem, Jamaica's first national poetry recitation competition for secondary school students. This is a testament to her passion for finding innovative material and alternative forms of literary pedagogy to help young people connect with and enjoy all genres of literature, specifically poetry. Dr. Spencer is currently a lecturer in language and literature education at the School of Education located in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. She is the associate editor for the Journal of Education and Development in the Caribbean and assistant chief examiner for the CXC Cape Literatures in English examination. Dr. Spencer was born to teach. She knew this from as early as 6 years old. This set her on a path to teaching excellence, as she is the recipient of this year's UWI Guardian Group Premium Teaching Award.
I got into teaching, I think there is a mixture of some genetics as well as just a desire that was born from the very beginning. I have two grandmothers who were educators, and I think somehow on both sides of the family that blood went straight through my veins. And I also have always had, I think, a desire to teach. I can't honestly remember a moment in time where that was not my desire. When I started teaching, actually, I remember teaching a group of girls, 45 students. At the time, I would have been in my early 20s. And as far as I was concerned, I can teach. There's nothing I can't handle. I engage with young people all the time. And I went in there, and the bottom line is I spent hours lecturing on a particular text, and the girls were good. They were quite excited and engaged in discussion. But I think what happened to me is a student teacher from Teachers College came to observe me. And at the end, I asked her to see her paper. And when I looked at 3/4 of the criteria, I was failing miserably. There was no engagement, yet I thought I was engaging my students because of my personality. And my life turned around, I think, or my teaching strategy, my style, turned around as of that point. And I recognize that there's a lot to learn.
She believes in student-centered learning and getting to know her students on a deeper level in an effort to discover the best way to engage them.
I think it's a matter of very simple things. Eye contact, speaking to a student after class, maintaining communication through email, causing students to speak during lectures. I have a 3-hour lecture. There's no way I can be speaking for the entire time. The average human is going to tune out in 10-15 minutes. Asking a question and watching them struggle with that question and getting them to understand that actually the tentativeness of that moment is perfectly okay, that I did not come to where I am because I knew everything and did everything perfectly, and allowing them to engage with me in that way. So even if I do not get to speak to every single student in every single class or session that we have, they would have all come out with the same experience of that level of engagement and interaction.
What makes Aisha a great teacher? People sometimes think that great teachers are born. Others believe that they are made. But in Aisha, you can see that it's a combination of the two. It's about being born with that disposition to make people gravitate to her, to make students want to sit up and listen to her, to make students believe that they can achieve more than what is within them. And those are the characteristics which make Aisha Spencer that great teacher. Born with wonderful characteristics, and these characteristics have just bloomed, and she has come to own them, and I like that about her.
Outside of the classroom, I've known Dr. Spencer, or Aisha as we call her, as a devoted parent. That's what stands out to her in my mind, and I think that kind of flows into the classroom. Her love for her children. She also demonstrates that kind of empathy for her students. She wants them to succeed, and I remember when her daughter was doing the GSAT examination. It was a tense period, but it was a microcosm of what parents did for their children at the time. She wanted them to succeed, and I've seen that also transmitted within her classroom context. So I think overall, she's an excellent person, not only a teacher, but a human being, and someone who ought to be commended for what she has done over the years.
The qualities of a great teacher: one, should have a passion for the subject, or a passion for teaching, a passion to help others, and also know the content by heart, right? So those are the three major qualities of a teacher, and I think that Dr. Spencer portrays all those three qualities, and the one to top all three is her passion, and I cannot emphasize that anymore. It's just that, you know, she has a passion for teaching and helping others, and if you're not growing, then she will take that time, no matter how time it takes, to help you to grow as a student, to master that content.
The greatest impact Dr. Spencer has had on me as a student is one day she came in class and she said, reading is an experience. And all along, I've always tackled reading and literature, more specifically, from the perspective of what I think my teachers and what others would want me to get from it. But right there, she broke it down for all of us. It's not what anybody else thinks or what anybody else wants you to think. It's what you get, what experience, what value you get from what you're reading. This, right then and there, this changed how I approached literature, how I approached teaching literature, and how I approached my expectations of my students. She always says, and every time I take up a book, every time I create a lesson For literature, I always remember Dr. Spencer saying, it's not about the text, it's about the experience and what the child can take from the text.
My focus tends to be on trying to understand the context and presenting that context. How am I going to present that context to my students in a way that will cause them to not just know, but be able to handle the situations that they're confronted with. So listening is important, observing is important, reflecting is important, and then of course I move the realistic into the subject matter. So preparation is huge for me. It's never a one-shot thing. It's never the same. It doesn't happen in the same way each time.
Dr. Aisha Spencer, the 2018 recipient of the UWI Guardian Group Premium Teaching Award.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hossein. No, Mr. Hossein. That's what's on that's what I'm reading here, and I have on my glasses now, so. I now invite Eric Hossein, President Guardian Life Limited, to present a plaque to the awardee, Dr. Aisha Spencer. Thank you very much, Mr. Hossein, and congratulations to you, Dr. Spencer. You know, these two gentlemen at the front just will not behave themselves, you know. They are very distracting. And it just, you really, guys, you see the kind of trouble I have at work? Okay, Professor Dale Weber, it's your opportunity now to present a special gift to our awardee, Dr. Spencer. So can you come back, Dr. Spencer, please? Thank you very much, Professor Weber. And once again, congratulations, Dr. Aisha Spencer, on a well-deserved award. Could somebody take the basket from her, because she has to come back up? Again, we're going to ask her to respond.
Wow. So we fight any possibility of water entering the eyes, and we focus, right? All protocols observed. That's a nice feeling. This evening, my emotions are causing me to experience what we call in literature a paradox. I am deeply humbled and awed by this experience, and those who know me know that right now, I would love to retreat into a corner somewhere and somehow become invisible and kind of watch from the periphery. But on the other hand, I am also honored and absolutely thrilled by the opportunity to have been granted the privilege of occupying this space of achievement, particularly when I think of the amazing individuals, and I have gone through and I have done my research on them, that have shone their light through this UWI Guardian Life collaborative effort since 2004, both on the Mona campus and on the other campuses in the region. When speaking about visible classrooms in his book, 10 Mind Frames for Visible Learning, Teaching for Success, John Hattie introduces the power of seeing a specific parallel possibility between educational expertise and successful leadership. It is a profound concept which focuses heavily on an idea presented by Simon Sinek, where as educators, we move away from thinking simply of what and begin to think of why. and how. This pattern of thought deeply resonates with my own teaching philosophy, which is centered around the belief that for teaching and learning to become truly life-changing, that we must begin to ask the question, why? Why are we teaching? Why do we place ourselves in the spaces that we tend to? Why do we care? Why does it matter how I teach? Why have I framed my content the way I have? And why would it matter that I teach? Self-awareness is a powerful skill with great significance, and I didn't steal it from Dr. Nielsen. I had no idea what she was going to say. It shows us the purpose for what we do and brings relevance and authenticity to every experience we have with ourselves and with those around us. Until we become more aware of who we are, or weaknesses, or strengths, we cannot move to another fundamental part of the journey. How will I teach? How will I facilitate learning in such a way that my students leave seeing themselves and the paths ahead of them, and not merely the subject matter or the person who has taught them? How do I help students to engage with their own thoughts and ideas and to move away from shelving who they are as individuals just so they can appear to be fine or fit a status quo before the public eye? So many of our students are afraid to face themselves, because facing themselves involves facing the challenges, facing the stereotypes that have labeled them, facing the walls and the hurdles that have always restricted and confined them to ways of being that simply don't reflect who they really are. I tell my students all the time, we cannot give what we do not have. For our students to become more self-aware, to engage in the metacognitive processes of which Dr. Nielsen has spoken of tonight, then we too, as facilitators, must become actively engaged in a process of not simply being aware of ourselves, but acting on the knowledge that comes out of that awareness. We must know why we do what we do, and that answer must come from deep within us. And when we find out why, the next step ought to be to determine how. So, thanks to the University of the West Indies Mona campus for recognizing the value of teaching in the academic experience of both lecturers and students. We can give them a hand. By extension, I also want to thank the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning for their consistent and meaningful participation in promoting the importance and relevance of teaching and learning processes in the academic arena through their workshops, their lecture series, their certificate courses, and through events like these. And I am sure all the nominees that are here today will attest with me what a grueling process the portfolio was. It was hard, but I told Dr. Nielsen when I did have the chance to meet her, and I encourage everybody who has not done it to participate. It caused you to see yourself, good and bad. And it caused you to look at past, it caused you to see yourself in the present, and it caused you to think about yourself in the future. And this is after years of experience of going in and out of classrooms every day, but suddenly I was able to see myself, and that's because of the reflective process that I was able to go through thanks to the portfolio exercise. So give it up for CUTL. I thank our stakeholders at Guardian Life for laying a relevant and needed cornerstone, emphasizing the valuable place of pedagogy through their generous contribution, and I suspect it will get even more generous, to this award process and event. I hope that at some point Guardian Life will actually go back to what they used to do also in sponsoring the UWI Guardian Life Teacher of Excellence lecture series, because as we can see based on what happened today, it really is an important, it could play an important and significant role in helping to reinforce and strengthen current trends and practices in the teaching and learning arena. I want to thank the marketing staff, especially Camille Reed, for a great set of interview questions, for calming me down because I did not like to sit in front of a camera to speak. Not used to that. And to the videographer, Mr. Keno Dawson, who, as you can see from the video, trust me, that was not just us, that was a lot of him in that work. My colleagues in the School of Education, who are kind of all over right now. Thank you. Right? Especially Dr. Chantal Moore, Dr. Saran Stewart, Miss Althea Akins, my undergraduate unit team who are here today as well, Dr. Clement Lambert, and recently we kind of lost him, but James Latipader, just for all that they've done to continuously always be there and be supportive of me. Thank you to my supportive, ever-present, always ready for the next level of drama in my life family. My mom placed me in a classroom at the age of 16 and was so confident in my abilities to teach the young children in front of me that I never actually thought once about doubting myself. My father has always been my hero and my motivator, the life-questioning philosopher who really instilled within me the kind of heart that I have for my students today. My brother is here, Akil. Can you just raise your hand? And I wanted to thank him. He's come all the way from Cayman just for this event, for always being my #1 encourager. And there are two special people who are sitting at the front right here. One is already blushing, but so it goes. I want to especially thank my children for their love, their patience, their willingness to put up with my flaws, my tireless hours of working, for their understanding and the simple ways that they show love to me every single day. Zoe and Joshua, thank you. Thank you to the special friends that are here tonight, always lending support, always functioning as fences around me. I'm going to also thank my dean, Professor Waibinti Wariboka, for always being supportive of all of us. All of us. And finally, if there are any, I know there's some students here because I asked you to come. I'd like you to stand, please, wherever you are. Some are coming as far from as Westmoreland and them places, so we have to really. Sean and Tamaika, please stand. Thank you. I want to thank the people who made this possible, my beloved students. I owe it all to you. Thank you for being my inspiration, my motivation, my raison d'être. Thank you for all being here tonight. One love always.
Thank you very much. As if we had any doubt, you just cleared it all. Yes, yes, yes. That was wonderful. You spoke about wetting eyes or something about, you almost caused mine to get a little wet. I'm going to ask quickly Mr. Damian Facey if he could come forward and make a presentation to Dr. Nielsen. Damian Facey, yes. An expression of our gratitude.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
It's either a book or a very oddly shaped umbrella.
Thank you very much, Mr. Facey. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at the end of this evening's proceedings. I'm going to invite Sabrina Johnson-Green, Assistant Vice President of Human Resources and Business User Support Services at Guardian Life, to move the vote of thanks, and I will return one last time after that.
All protocols observed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to have been asked to move the vote of thanks on this occasion. Indeed, I think you would agree with me that it has been a wonderful evening of learning and entertainment. And for that, I want to say thank you to a few persons. Reverend Dr. Stephen Samuels, we thank you
for so ably invoking the presence of God this evening, who through his mercy has allowed us the opportunity to be here. Amy Edmondson, in her book, Teaming: How Organizations Learn, Innovate, and Compete in a Knowledge Economy, said, and I quote, "Learning is not a one-time event or a periodic luxury. Great leaders in great companies recognize that the ability to learn, innovate, improve, and constantly do what needs to be done is vital to their success. It is this mindset that has spurred this unique partnership between the university and Guardian Life Limited that continues to have the full support of their leadership. Professor Weber, Mr. Hussein, we salute your commitment to excellence in teaching and its role in Jamaica's growth and development. I want to say a very big thank you to our keynote speaker and chief judge, Dr. Linda Nielsen, for her efforts in helping us understand how the students' awareness and understanding of their own thought processes helps to foster excellence in teaching and also in learning. I'm sure we were all enlightened by her presentation. I also want to thank the judges, Dr. McAnuff-Gomes and Dr. Valdez, who along with Dr. Nielsen had the hard task of selecting a winner from these well-qualified and experienced nominees. To the dedicated nominees of the Premium Teaching Award, Dr. Wayne Palmer, Miss Lisa Brown, Dr. Venkateswari Rao Penugonda, and the selected winner and awardee, Dr. Aisha Spencer, who have displayed enthusiasm and commitment to educating inquiring minds, not just as a profession, but clearly also as a passion. We say thank you and heartiest congratulations. Like any good study session, you need a little break every now and again to relax the mind. And Mrs. Clark did not disappoint in her selections. Thank you, Vanessa. The search for a worthy awardee for this coveted teaching award and this culminating awards ceremony did not happen by chance. And so we express our gratitude to the organizing committee and their support staff, who no doubt worked assiduously behind the scenes to ensure that this 2018 staging of this award was a success. And finally, I say thanks to all of you for taking the time to participate in and attending tonight's ceremony. It has indeed been a great pleasure being here. And so to one and all, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it has been my distinct pleasure steering this evening's event. I trust it was a fulfilling one, time well spent. I want to leave you with this thought by Ronnie Oldham. Excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. Thank you all very much, and I invite you to join us for refreshments.